Good morning, traders. This is Shane Scott, the moderator of Newsware's Trade Talk. At Trade Talk, we're providing you with the up-to-the-minute news on the market, along with the facts, themes, and short-term trading ideas for the day ahead. Joining me today is our trading anchor, Bill Olson, who brings over 30 years of institutional trading knowledge to our program. Let's get things started with our markets update. U.S. futures are mixed this morning, with S&P futures down 0.01%, Dow futures up 0.23%, and NASDAQ futures down 0.05%. The mix in equity comes along with investors' focus on the strength of global economic recovery and progress in delivering vaccines. American Airlines Group and Carnival Corp climbed in early trading, while U.S. Steel advanced after saying it expects earnings to improve on the back of strong market conditions. Investors continue to find worry in rising long-term borrowing costs and their implications for reflation trade and the rotation in the stock market from growth to value shares. As of this morning, the benchmark Treasury yield has reached around 1.61%. There's also the issue of higher taxes and potential impact that it can cause on corporate profit growth, as President Biden plans the first major federal tax hike since 1993 to help pay for a long-term economic program. Over in Europe, travel companies and automakers led the Stock 600 index to the highest level in a year. And over in Asia, economic data from China has shown a surge in industrial output of crude oil, underscoring the strength of its V-shaped recovery and pushing Brent crude up over $69 a barrel. Concerns on tightening liquidity weighed on Chinese shares, with the CSI 300 index having closed down 2.2%. Bill, what are you seeing as far as market updates?
You know, Shane, I've been watching the S&Ps all morning long, and they've been higher all morning long, and they just recently went negative. You know, you look at the S&Ps, and the market was feeling optimistic. But the reason why it was feeling optimistic is because you got an FOMC meeting, and that was the event that everybody was really looking towards. And the Fed is expected to announce expectations for increased growth in the economy, as the stimulus package has been approved. However, now you're starting those news reports about the Biden administration coming out with new tax hike plans. This is a big negative. It caused, German markets, over in Europe, they turned around. They're now negative. You see the S&Ps turned around. They're now negative. And so when you start talking about the increasing of the yield curve, that's okay. People have now expected it because that is a sign of a growing economy. But a tax hike, that's different. And Joe Biden is actually is most likely a one-term president. He's unlikely to run again, due to his age. So he's going to be pushing through these things that are what he believes are right for the economy and right for the country. And one of them would be a tax hike, which he's going to be trying to push through, and that's a negative factor that is weighing on the markets this morning.
Yeah, well, let's talk about the positive catalysts. What are we looking at as far as earnings, Bill?
Well, you got to start off with U.S. Steel. U.S. Steel really delivered. They delivered their earnings this morning, and they came in with a big beat. They beat by 30 cents, and you look at the stock; it's up 3% this morning. So U.S. Steel had a really solid earnings report.
Mm-hmm. How about insights as far as what's upcoming in earning announcements?
Well, we got a lot of earnings coming out this week. You do have FedEx coming out. You also have Nike coming out. But tomorrow is really what I'm focused on. City Trends, it's ticker Charlie, Tom, Richard, Nancy, CTRN. That's priced for a 10% move. Fuel Cell, that's ticker FCEL, Frank, Charlie, Edward, Larry. That's priced for a 20% move. Coupa Software, ticker COUP, Charlie Oscar under Paul, that's priced for a 9.6% move. CrowdStrike, ticker CRWD, Charlie Richard William David, that's priced for a 10.8% move. And Lennar, the home builder, ticker LEN, that's priced for a 7% move when they release earnings tomorrow.
How about economic reports? What do we see in there, Bill?
There's only one, coming out that I can see. That's the Empire State Manufacturing Index. It's coming out at 8:30 this morning.
Moving into our morning's critical insights, starting things off with one on Takeda, ticker TAK, and IDT Biologica. The companies have made a mutual agreement to use their facilities to support the production of Johnson & Johnson's COVID-19 vaccine for the next 3 months. Takeda's share price is up 1.68% in pre-market. One on Rumble, it's ticker RMBL. Rumble and Power Sports dealer Ride Now have entered into a definitive merger equity agreement in which Rumble will combine with up to 46 entities operating under Ride Now brand for a total consideration of $575.4 million. Rumble share price is up 15.56% in pre-market. In other news, Cummins, ticker CMI. One on them and Hino Trucks. Hino Trucks intends to produce medium and heavy-duty trucks with Cummins engine for sale in North America. Cummins share price is up 0.39% in pre-market. News on eBay, ticker EBON. Shares of the company are climbing more than 12% in pre-market today following the start to its beta testing of its cryptocurrency exchange that started today by invite only and is expected to end by the end of the month. One on Extended Stay America, ticker STAY. Shares have jumped 15.9% in pre-market today off of news that the hotel operator agreed to be acquired by Blackstone Group and Starwood Capital Group in a deal valued at $6 billion. In other news, Gilead, ticker GILD, and Merck, ticker MRK, have entered into a deal to jointly develop and commercialize long-acting treatments in HIV. According to the terms, the companies will combine Gilead's investigational drug with Merck's drug candidate to create a 2-drug regimen as a new treatment option for people living with HIV. So first clinical studies are expected to begin in the second half of 2021. Merck's share price is up 0.4% in pre-market, while Gilead's is up 0.47%. In other news, Heinz, ticker KHC, is to launch 3 new sauce creations that are based around combining Canadian Heinz flavors into a fusion sauces. Heinz share price is down 0.26% in pre-market. One on Rogers Communications, ticker RCI. It's set to acquire Shaw Communications, ticker SJR, for $26 billion, or a price of $40.50 per share. Shaw's share price is currently up 56.49% in pre-market. In other news, BioXcel, ticker BTAI. Their treatment BXL 501 has received FDA breakthrough therapy designation for acute treatment of agitation associated with dementia. BioXcel's share price has jumped up 12.79% in pre-market. Last one for me on Baidu, ticker BIDU. Companies received qualifications for 35 vehicles to demonstrate commercialized autonomous driving operations and qualifications for 10 vehicles to conduct driverless testing, so autonomous driving, by local traffic authorities. Baidu's share price is down 1.21% in pre-market. But what are you seeing as far as this morning's news?
As you know, Shane, I really break my alerts down into event-based segments as well as industry group segments. And the reason why I do that is because when they start flowing in, I can quickly ascertain the hot headlines that are coming in, the ones that are really going to be likely to be a catalyst for trading for the day. You know, I have that FANG alert that I watch closely. You know, I noticed today, news that's really out on Google, Apple, and some of the other big tech firms. These guys are making a push to hire a number of local state lobbyists. And the reason why they're doing that is they're trying to get ahead of a lot of the proposed state legislation on privacy, new privacy laws. Well, the federal lawmakers have been holding hearings, and they are in discussions about policies to regulate tech companies. The debates and votes could occur within the states first. So if passed, state laws matter because they become the de facto national standards in the absence of a federal action. So you really want to be paying attention to a lot of these, state laws that are on the books right now that are being negotiated. News on Facebook, I see that they're launching a tool to show where you can get a COVID-19 vaccine. That's actually a pretty popular tool these days. Google on Friday was denied court dismissal of the lawsuit, alleging that the company collects data on users' internet activity, even when the browser setting is set to privacy mode. My Dow Jones 30 alert. Visa, They're really designed to be one of the major beneficiaries of the $1.9 trillion COVID-19 relief package. JP Morgan, ticker JPM, along with other banks, they're receiving upgrades and price target hikes this morning because the banks are said to be flush with cash and ready to do deals. My retail alert was going off, and one of the big ones that I noticed was the January and February data out of China is showing surging retail sales growth and stronger than the market expected. But locally, like in Amazon came out and said that their business to business segment hit $25 billion in annual sales. And this is a relatively new segment for Amazon, so it's a key driver for them. Nike, ticker NKE, Piper came out and they said that their buyer of Nike into the results, and they actually boosted their target price to 170. I find this very interesting and contrary to some of the other things that I've been reading. Let's talk about my FDA alert, Lilly, ticker LLY. Eli Lilly's Alzheimer's data over the weekend, they were solid and supportive of further development, but they weren't stunning or worthy of an accelerated regulatory approval as some people had hoped. You're not going to get that with a treatment like this, but it's still positive news for Eli Lilly. The stock is off big this morning, and I wouldn't be surprised if it starts to move higher throughout the day. AstraZeneca, ticker AZN, Apple Zebra Nancy. The use of AZN's COVID-19 vaccine has been temporarily suspended in Ireland and in the Netherlands after reports of severe blood clots in some people who have received the vaccine, according to separate statements from the country's health agencies on Sunday. One thing to note on Pfizer. Pfizer's 30-day option implied volatility is at 21. I mean, now you think of the 52-week range, that range is 22 to 72. So shares of Pfizer are really trading at a discount right now, and it's one to take a look at. I have a secondary alert, went off on DraftKings. That's ticker DKNG, David, Kilo, Nancy, Grace. They announced their intention to offer $1 billion in aggregated principal amounts of convertible senior notes due in 2028. In terms of events, I got two events to talk about. Ticker Paul Charlie Richard X-ray, PCRX. Keep an eye on this one. Management is having a meeting with Jefferies on Wednesday. One of the items that they will likely be discussing is the company's upcoming FDA ruling on Xpera, which is has a PDUFA date of March 22nd. That's next Monday. So you got two events in a very short period of time. This is positive for shares of PCRX. AMD, let's take a look at AMD. They're hosting a global launch today for its third generation processors. So, shares of AMD should be able to see some action today and keep an eye out on it.
Let's talk trade talk picks for today. So I'm picking Lenner, ticker LEN. And hoping to get in this one at under $88.50. It has earnings coming out tomorrow, and this is a home builder stock. The vertical that it's in is producing earnings beats. So other home builders stocks like Toll Brothers, KBH Homes coming out with, about 3% jumps off their earning reports. And Lenner's expected to do the same. So I think we can expect to see a decent move from this one. And if we can get in under 88.50, that's a good buy for us. So that's my pick. What's your pick looking like today, Bill?
I'm going with Fuel Cell, ticker FCEL, Frank Charlie Edward Larry. This is an earnings play. They're expected to see some positive flow today going into the event. Now, the key is Biden is proposing a clean energy incentive, which could really power forward guidance. So, I'm looking at shares of Fuel Cell. I'm going to try and, get in 1750, 1760 range. But I think this is going to be a nice little winner today, shares of Fuel Cell.
Moving into what's hot off the press. So this is the news that's hitting the tape as we speak that's going to be moving the stocks today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So Bill, seeing our newswire alerts, all the headlines streaming in, which are the ones we should be letting traders know about?
Ticker DAL, Delta. Delta sees first quarter revenue near the bottom of guidance. Let's go BABA, BABA. China's asking Alibaba to divest some media assets.
Asian, ticker AEGN, has amended its merger agreement with New Mountain Capital to increase the price to $27 a share.
Let's talk AMT, Apple Maritime. That's American Tower Corp. They agreed to lease space on up to 20,000 of its communication sites to Dish Network. AMT.
Roque, ticker RHHBY, is set to acquire Genmark Diagnostics for $24.05 a share. Genmark's ticker is GNMK.
I'm going to take a look at Riot, RIOT, Riot Blockchain. They produced 302 newly minted BTC during the Q4. That's not good. That's more supply.
Anything else interesting for you, Bill?
No, that's all I'm seeing today.
Same here. So that'll do it as far as what's hot off the press. But traders, keep in mind that you can receive these same breaking stories just like us simply by subscribing at newsware.com. Check us out for a free trial today. Moving into our scoreboard, talking about how our picks did from Friday. I had Eli Lilly, ticker LLY, which opened at $206.51. Our price to buy at was $205, and it did hit that. So we bought in. It closed at $208.08, which was a 1.5% gain. So it was a winner as far as the day. However, if you held into the weekend, news ended up not being as great as it could have been. It was okay, but it wasn't stellar, and because of that, there was a decline that we saw this morning. So we're about $196.71 this morning. So gains are a bit erased. However, it was good for the day. So for Friday, it was a win. How'd yours end up doing, Bill?
Well, on Friday, I did Docusign, DOCU, on the back of a really strong positive earnings announcement. And, the stock sold off because of the fact that they were concerned about, the forward guidance valuations. But Docusign's not a pandemic play. It's a new technology that's going to be continually adopted by businesses, in the coming years. Docusign opened up at $215.90, and at the end of the day, it closed at $210.34. Well, there were plenty of great trading opportunities in this stock on Friday. Fact is that the opening was lower, the close was lower than the opening price, so it was a miss for me. It was the first one for the month, but shares of Docusign did not perform well on Friday.
Okay, well, that's going to do it for us here at Trade Talk. But traders, you know what to do. Let's get out there. Let's make some green.